Hi guys, it's Kayla here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my May TBR list, and this is the second TBR list I will have done ever. So hopefully it goes better than my April TBR. So I had planned on reading at least 7 books in April. I only read 4, and I'm gonna link my April wrap-up video down below so you can kind of see what happened in April, why I only read 4 out of 7, all the crazy stuff that happened, and yeah, so that's that. But today's May 1st, it's a brand new day, a brand new month, and I have a brand new TBR, and I am determined to do better than last month. I would really like to read everything on my TBR. That would be really cool. So yeah, let's get to it. So I always like to plan to read more than I read last month. I only read 4 books last month, and I had planned on reading 7. So this month I'm planning on reading 7 books again. I thought it was 8, but it's just 7. So we're gonna stick with 7, and we're gonna see how far I can get in May. And the cool thing about this TBR is all of these books are ones that I already own, and they're in physical form, so that's kind of cool. I don't have to like read them online or anything like that. It's just, sometimes it's just nice to have them all in one place, so that's cool. So the very first, let's just do that. And these are in no particular order. Okay, so the very first book I plan on reading in May is American Psycho by Easton Ellis. Now, what I really mean is that I plan on finishing this book in May because I started it in April. I think I started it like April 15th. But like I said, if you look at my last video, you'll see why I didn't finish it. So I only got up to page 126 out of all of that. So I'm gonna finish it in May. I'm gonna count it for May so I can finally finish this book. It's super good. I mean, it's not like I'm dragging my feet because it's awful. It's not. It's really good. It's just, life's been crazy. So first book up, I plan on finishing American Psycho by Easton Ellis. If you have never heard of this book or the movie, it is about a guy who works on Wall Street, and this takes place in the 90s, I want to say. Late 80s, early 90s. I think it takes place in the early 90s. And he's crazy. And he possibly kills people. I'm not sure exactly what happens yet, but it's such a good movie. I loved the movie. I'm loving the book so far. It's so good. It's different. I can't wait to do a video, like a review on it. So that's the first one I plan on finishing in May. So there's that. The next one, all these books are in no particular order. They're literally just how I picked them off my shelf. I found that the books I was picking off my shelf, I kept picking up really dark books, like just dark themes and stuff, and I'm like, am I in a dark mood? I must be, I don't know. So I tried picking a few lighter ones, so this is one of them. So the next book I plan on reading in May is called Pack Up the Moon by Anna McPartlin. I've had this book for a really long time, and I have never read it. I think the farthest I've gotten is like a few pages in it, and I'm not sure why. I really don't. It's such a pretty book. It's so gorgeous, and yeah, I'm just crazy. So I'm gonna read you the back so you can kind of get an idea of what this is about. I vaguely know what it's about, but I can't remember, so let's just read it. Okay. There's a big life ahead of her. Can she find the courage to live it? Emma is 26, pretty, intelligent, and happily living with her childhood sweetheart, John, in a cute little Dublin apartment. Her biggest problem is that her mother won't stop nagging her to get married already. Emma and John feel like the perfect couple, their future alive with possibilities. But out of the blue, a tragedy throws her life into disarray, and Emma is suddenly, incomprehensibly alone. As she emerges from grief, Emma has to find a whole new way of living, and her loyal friends rally around in an attempt to help. Clodagh, I think that's how you say that, Emma's lifelong friend with whom she shared everything from mud pies to dating disasters. Anne and Richard, more or less happily married and debating a move to the country. Emma's brother Noel, the young Catholic priest, finding his own faith tested even as he tries to comfort Emma. Sean, the gorgeous bad boy of 1,000 one-night stands, uncomfortably aware of his and Emma's growing connection. Witty, acerbic, and sometimes downright shocking, Emma documents the stories of her friends and her own recovery from grief with a candor that engages the reader from the very first page. With an amazing insight into the power of friendship and wry, irreverent humor that considers no subject off limits, talented new Irish writer Anna McPartlin tells a heartwarming story of the courage it takes to move past loss and learn to live. So, I mean, it seems like a really good book. And I know I said that it was going to be a lighter book, but it's lighter than the other books I chose. So, but I'm excited to read it. She's 26, I'm 27, so I feel like I can really relate to her. So I'm curious to see how this is. I hope I don't cry my eyes out, but I probably will because everything makes me cry. So, but I'm excited to read this. So that's the second book. And the next book I plan on reading in May is, again, I picked this because I thought it was lighter material, which it is. It is Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I love Jane Austen. I've only ever read Pride and Prejudice. I've only ever read Pride and Prejudice, and I loved it. Like, it's one of my favorites. I've read it 2 or 3 times already, and I just love Jane Austen. Again, period pieces, that kind of lifestyle. I'm so into it. So I'm super excited about reading this. This is such a cute copy. I found this at the Goodwill, and it's just so pretty. Like, look at that. Look at how gorgeous. And it's so fat because look at the writing. It's like the print is like how it was printed, almost like in its original format, but just blown up. So I don't know, and the pages feel good. I just love it. I don't know, it seems so cute. So this is the third book I plan on reading. I am going to read what it's about because I kind of know what it's about, but kind of not. So perhaps the most affecting and accomplished of Jane Austen's novels, Sense and Sensibility, which grew out of an adolescent sketch, Eleanor and Marianne, I didn't know that, tells the story of 2 sisters, polar opposites, Eleanor and Marianne Dashwood, whose hopes of marrying well are smashed when their family's estate is left to an arrogant stepson upon the death of their father. Thus pauperized, the practical, almost prissy Eleanor, the sense of the duo, sets out to hide her deep affection for her brother-in-law, pained in the fact that they cannot marry. But when younger Marianne, indulging her almost hedonistic pursuit of passion, becomes infatuated with a dashing rogue, her clamorous spirit threatens to blind her to a more lasting and genuine love. Delicately piercing and exquisite in its irony, Sense and Sensibility, Austen's first published novel, is a profound examination of 2 sisters who discover the limits of both the mind and the heart. Aww. So I'm really excited to read this. I'm sure I'm gonna love it. I love Jane Austen. I can't imagine not liking something that she has written. And it's about 2 sisters, and I have 2 sisters, and you know, I have found love, and my sisters have found love, and actually one of my sisters just got engaged, and so it's kind of like I'm like in that mood to read. I don't know. I just feel like it applies, and so I'm excited to read it. And I thought I want to read a classic. I want to keep reading at least read 1 classic a month. I love classics, so yeah, I'm excited to read this. Okay, the next book I want to read is a classic as well. Again, I picked it because it's a little lighter, kind of, I think. But it's one that I have started reading a few times, and for some reason I never finished. Not because it wasn't good, I just got maybe 20 pages in or something. But it's one that I really want to read. It's called Tess of the D'Urbervilles by Thomas Hardy. And this is such a cute little copy I got at the Barnes & Noble, and it's just so cute and little, and it feels good. I love this book. I really like paperbacks sometimes, but Tess of the D'Urbervilles, I cannot wait to read this. So, okay, I'll read you what it's about. Violated by one man, forsaken by another, Tess Derbyfield is the magnificent and spirited heroine of Thomas Hardy's immortal work. Of all the great English novelists, no one writes more eloquently of tragic destiny than Hardy. With the innocent and powerless victim Tess, he creates profound sympathy for human frailty while passionately indicting the injustices of Victorian society. Scorned by outraged readers upon its publication in 1891, Tess of the D'Urbervilles is today one of the enduring classics of 19th century literature. I'm just going to adore this book. I know I am. Again, a period piece, a classic. I know I'm going to love it. And I think the most I've read of this book was like 60 pages or something like that. And I loved it. And God knows why I stop reading things sometimes, but I'm really excited to read this. So, The Complete Mouse. I am very excited to read this. There's a part 1 and a part 2 in here. And it's pretty thick, but it is a graphic novel. It's another graphic novel. And this one I'm actually probably really sure I'm really going to like. So, I'm going to read you what it's about. La 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 la. The Complete Mouse. It is the story of Vladek Spiegelman, a Jewish survivor of Hitler's Europe, and his son, a cartoonist coming to terms with his father's story. Mouse approaches the unspeakable through the diminutive. Its form, the cartoon, the Nazis are cats, the Jews are mice, shocks us out of any lingering sense of familiarity and succeeds in drawing us closer to the black heart of the Holocaust. So this is a story about mice and cats, and it's largely a story about the Holocaust and a family that's affected by it. So the Holocaust has always been a subject, a part of history that I've always been like constantly learning about, and I think it's because I keep trying to understand it. I keep trying to get it. So I feel like the more I learn, the more I'll understand it, but it's one of those things where you'll never understand the Holocaust because there's no reason behind it. There's no logic behind it. So, but it's still one of those topics that I feel like can't be forgotten. And so this is a book that I've been wanting to read for a long time. I finally bought it and I plan on reading it this month, and it's darker, but it's necessary. So I'm very excited about reading this. So this is number 5. This is the 5th book I plan on reading. The next book is The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. I really wanted to read this because of the cover. It has books on it. The 13th Tale. It sounds really cool. And it's a pretty book. I'm not even sure what it's about. Let's see. All children mythologize their birth. So begins the prologue of reclusive author Vida Winter's collection of stories, which are as famous for the mystery of the missing 13th tale as they are for the delight and enchantment of the 12 that do exist. The enigmatic Winter has spent 6 decades creating various outlandish life histories for herself, all of them inventions that have brought her fame and fortune, but have kept her violent and tragic past a secret. Now old and ailing, she at last wants to tell the truth about her extraordinary life. She summons biographer Margaret Leah, a young woman for whom the secret of her own birth, hidden by those who loved her most, remains an ever-present pain. Struck by a curious parallel between Miss Winter's story and her own, Margaret takes on the commission. As Vida disinters the life she meant to bury for good, Margaret is mesmerized. It is a tale of gothic strangeness featuring the Angelfield family, including the beautiful and willful Isabel, the feral twins Adeline and Emmeline, a ghost, a governess, a topiary garden, and a devastating fire. Like, this sounds so good. Oh my god, I'm gonna love it. Margaret succumbs to the power of Vida's storytelling, but remains suspicious of the author's sincerity. She demands the truth from Vida, and together they confront the ghosts that have haunted them while becoming finally transformed by the truth themselves. The 13th Tale is a love letter to reading, a book for the feral reader in all of us, a return to that rich vein of storytelling that our parents loved and that we loved as children. Diane Setterfield will keep you guessing, make you wonder, move you to tears and laughter, and in the end deposit you breathless yet satisfied, back upon the shore of your everyday life. Now, if that is not one of the best book jacket descriptions of a book, I don't know what is, because holy cow, this might be the second book I actually pick up because this sounds so good. Oh my god, I'm so excited to read it. The last book I plan on reading in May is The Body in the Castle Well, a Bruno Chief of Police novel written by Martin Walker. Now this book is a priority because I won this in a Goodreads giveaway, which was really cool. So Goodreads has giveaways sometimes. I'll put a link of like the page or the link that shows their giveaways. They do ebook giveaways, they do print giveaways, and I entered in a giveaway for this book because it sounded really cool. And I won. I was one of the ones that got a copy. So it's really cool. And this is actually, it is set to publish June 6th. So a little over a month from now. So I want to go ahead and read it and give a review and stuff like that and see if it's going to be any good. So yeah, so I'm excited about reading this. I will read it to you and let you know what it's about. So it says, when Claudia, a young American, turns up dead in the courtyard of an ancient castle in Bruno's jurisdiction, her death is assumed to be an accident related to opioid use. But her doctor persuades Bruno that things may not be so simple. Thus begins an investigation that leads Bruno to Monsieur de Boudel, the scholar with whom the girl had been studying, and then through that man's past. He is a renowned art historian who became extraordinarily wealthy through the sale of paintings that may have been falsely attributed, or so Claudia suggested shortly before her death. In his younger days, Bourdelle had aided the resistance and been arrested by a Vichy policeman whose own life story also becomes inexorably entangled with the case. Also in the mix is a young falconer who works at the Chateau de Milonde, the former home of fabled jazz singer Josephine Baker. In the end, of course, Bruno will tie all the loose threads together and see that justice is served, along with a generous helping of his signature Perigordian cuisine. So yeah, it sounds really good. This reminds me so much of Agatha Christie. I'm getting, just from reading the back of it, I'm getting very Agatha Christie vibes, so that's kind of cool. I read The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie and I loved it. It was so good. So I wonder if it'll be like that. So yeah, I'm excited to read this, and it seems like a detective mystery. It seems really good. So yeah, I hope I love it. So yeah, that's the last book I plan on reading in May. So yeah, that's it. Those are the 7 books I plan on reading in May. Hopefully May goes a lot smoother than April did. Hopefully I read them all. Hopefully I love them all. And hopefully I read more than those. That would be really cool. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please be sure to like it and subscribe if you haven't already. And let me know if you've read any of these books, what you thought about them, if you plan on reading them, maybe some books that you're planning on reading soon. I am always open to suggestions because that's how I figure out what I want to read. I really hope you guys like this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!